out, which I would call him the dark magician. He also had an experience, and he has had a couple of them. This is just quite regular with him. But he noticed that he was lying on a couch, and he decided that he wanted to get up and go somewhere. And when he got up, but he was asleep though, but he got up in his sleep. Anytime you wake up in a dream, and I'm talking about not physically wake up, your physical body wake up, but you're waking up, your sleep wake up, and you're still sleeping, okay? So you're still sleeping, and you wake up, but your physical body is still asleep. Y'all kind of see what I'm talking about, okay? You're having an out of body experience, okay? You're not just waking up inside of a dream. You're having an out of body experience, and once you start having that out of body experience, then you know for sure that you are doing this. And this is a great time to go ahead on and see what's out there. And for some people, it may be scary because they're afraid they may not be able to get back in their body. And I want to talk a little bit more about that, because in some situations, some things can go wrong. But this is a time to go and explore, okay? This is definitely that time. And so he said that he actually got up within the dream, okay? And he saw his physical body lying on the couch. But he decided that he wanted to go out the door and get in his car and go, because he didn't know. He still was not aware, you know. Even though he saw his physical body, he still was not aware of what really was going on. So he decided, because it was so real, just real as, you know, you looking at me and I'm sitting here, you know, staring at you right now. It was just so real. So he proceeded to open the door and go out to get to his car. Mind you, it was nighttime. His car wasn't out there. And so, you know, he was alarmed. Where is my car? You know, and so he came back and he noticed that his body was lying there. So that's when he kind of like thought something was wrong. So what he did, he said he tried to lay back down inside of his body so he can get back up again. When he got back up again, okay, because he lied in his body, he got back up again, went back to the door. His car still wasn't out there. And what he noticed, that everything was rearranged. It was like a whole nother dimension, okay, which it is another dimension. Everything was rearranged. Everything was the same, but rearranged. So he was really alarmed. He was really like thinking something is not right. Now, mind you, it's not the type of fear we have, because our emotions are sort of numb there. It's sort of like you don't have the emotions and feelings that you have here. So this is truly a gift, because on that particular side, depending on which side you go on, you don't have the pleasures of senses like we have here. All of the senses. You know, so because, you know, to kind of give you an idea, you may have you may experience going over to the other side, and you may want something to eat, but you can't eat over there. You don't get sleepy, you don't get restless. I mean, those are physical things, in other words. You're just a thought. As crazy as it may sound, you're just a thought, because like even with myself and with him, what we came up with is you're not who you are. You're not who you are here on earth. You're not spiritually. You're not spiritually. There you have no identity. You're just a thought. All you are the things that you can think of. That's it. You're just a mere thought. So anyway, I don't know, that may not make sense to you or not, but you know, you have to have the experience to kind of understand what I'm talking about. So he still realized that his car wasn't out there. He could hear music playing. His experiences was a little different from mine, because I couldn't hear any sound, but he did have the senses of sound. He could hear people talking and music playing, and it's just like it is here, but rearranged differently. So he came back inside the house. He saw his body there. Also, he saw the same hallway that I saw, a dark hallway with a door. And guess what? It had an orange reddish light behind it. So I say all of this to say this right here. When we die, there are so many choices before us, okay? Some of your experience might be like me, because like my experience, I really just didn't have the choice and the option to kind of like move myself around like he did. He had options. He could go to the left, to the right, whatever. But there was a suction pulling me. So everybody's experience is going to be quite different, but some of the things are similar. There are options. You can decide whether you want to proceed through the door. My curiosity is what's behind the door. I'm looking for material so I can read. If you all know what's behind the door, kind of give me an idea. I've heard of a near-death experience that this one lady had. She said that there were 4 doors. One door was to hell. She went in there. She had options. She went. She didn't. You really don't have to stay in those places. You can go if you want, or you don't have to stay, because she didn't decide she didn't want to be there. But the other people were there. But she said clearly they had the option to come out of there if they wanted to, but they felt like that's the place they needed to be in. Because remember, you are the only one can set the standards for your own judgment. Only you can do that. Okay. So you judge yourself, and you know whether or not you deserve whatever you get, okay? So, anyway, she said it was a place of torture, a place of just plain bondage and fear and fire, and, you know, you could hear the people yelling and the people screaming out, and, you know, like they're the gnashing of the teeth and all of that, and you could see animals torturing humans and humans torturing humans. Is what she saw, and there was a stench there. So she decided she didn't want to go there. She went to another place, and it was like the ground was yellow, it was barren, it was cracked. It looked like a desert, and everybody had their heads down in doom and despair. But clearly, she said they were there because they wanted to be there, because she had the option to come out. Why couldn't they? So the next door she came to was the door of the most beauty she's ever seen. She said that it was like a crystal city. It was like city of beauty, beings of light flying around, sort of like Gilbert Williams' work. If you've never heard of Gilbert Williams, you can YouTube Gilbert Williams' work, and the place looked exactly like that. And she said there was a being that came to the door and told her that you do not have the credits to enter. Okay? So that says a lot about us and what we do in life. It's almost like a software game. We have to build our credits up to be able to go to that particular level, okay? And so in other words, if you're not at that level, you're going to either come back and repeat this over and over again, or you may decide that you may need to go to this purgatory that she spoke about, so to speak. All of those who don't want to go to purgatory, don't want to go behind any of the doors, or don't have enough credit to go to the place of light, will have to come back to repeat this again. And what you do, you roam the earth, because the guy was telling me his feeling was this: he was just roaming the earth. He just roaming the earth, just walking around. And now those are the ghosts. Those are the people who have unfinished business. Those are the people who want to live again so that they can build their credits up. How do we build the credits up? That's a whole nother video, and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay.